The House in the Woods. It is said that deep in a dense forest lies an old, abandoned house known by locals as the House of Shadows. No one knew who had lived there, but everyone avoided the area, especially after nightfall. One cold autumn night, a young man named Adrian, curious by nature, decided to explore the place. They say his friends had dared him, claiming he didn't have the guts to spend even an hour in that haunted house. With a flashlight in hand and a rush of adrenaline, Adrian entered the forest. The wind whistled through the trees, and the rustling of the dried leaves seemed to whisper his name. After a while, he reached the house. It was more sinister than he had imagined. The broken windows looked like hollow eyes, and the door hung from a single hinge. Adrian stepped inside. The air was heavy and smelled of mold. The walls were covered in scratch marks, as if someone had desperately tried to escape. On the creaking wooden floor, dusty footprints could be seen, though no one had lived there for years. As he wandered through the darkened rooms, Adrian heard footsteps behind him. He quickly turned around, but no one was there. He laughed nervously, convincing himself that his mind was playing tricks on him. Still, the footsteps continued, now closer and closer. In the living room, he noticed an old, cracked mirror leaning against the wall. When he looked at his reflection, he saw something that froze his blood. Behind him stood a dark silhouette with faintly glowing eyes. But when he turned around, the room was empty. The flashlight began to flicker, and Adrian heard a whisper. "You shouldn't have come here." Terrified, he ran toward the door, but it had shut on its own. Behind him, the sound of footsteps grew faster, and the whispers turned into sharp screams. He began pounding on the door in desperation, but before he could open it, he felt something cold grab his shoulder. In the morning, Adrian's friends came to look for him. They found him in front of the house, but he was no longer the same person. His eyes were wide open, filled with terror, and the only thing he could mutter incoherently was, "The shadows, they're coming for me." Since then, no one has dared to enter the House of Shadows.